What's up, everyone? Recently, I had an opportunity to check out the Lumix S5, and one of the things I wanted to do was compare the IBIS of the S5 with the in-body image stabilization of the GH5, which we all know is fantastic. If you're new here, my name is Caleb, and I've been doing freelance video production since 2012, but this channel is to help you make your own videos, whether you just started or you've been making them for a while, whether you use the GH5, the S5, or any other camera. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We all know that the IBIS on the GH5 is great, and you can get some great handheld footage without being on any type of gimbal. But how does the S5 stack up as far as the in-body image stabilization goes compared to the GH5? And that's what I wanted to find out. So in this video, I just have some sample shots. They're really simple sample shots. They're nothing like super cinematic or anything like that. They're just sample shots of the two cameras compared. Some shots are just of the S5, some are of the GH5, some are side by side, so that you can kind of take a look at that. And what I tried to do is, swap out the cameras, but try to get the same type of shot as close as possible with each camera. And I wanted to do each one handheld individually, not put them on like a bar together or stack them together, because that kind of throws off balance and things like that. I wanted to get a real feel of the camera and hold them in my hand and get those handheld shots to see what the in-body image stabilization looks like with those cameras. So one of the things with the GH5 is that I feel like the IBIS is at its best when you're in a variable frame rate like HD 120 or the 4K 60 option. So these shots, I only used a variable frame rate on the GH5 and the S&Q on the S5, which is, similar to the variable frame rate. But I really feel like the IBIS is best in these scenarios. So some shots are HD 120, some shots are 4K 60. So let's jump into some of these sample shots. All right, so this very first shot is a typical slider shot, kind of a reveal style shot, and you can kind of see the comparison between the two cameras here. Then we move on to my son skateboarding down the sidewalk, and this very first one is the GH5 with a variable frame rate of 120. I'm using the Lumix 12-35 without the OIS, so it's just the GH5 stabilization. The same with this next one, the S5 is just the internal stabilization. I would say for a full frame, this looks like very good in-body image stabilization. I was walking on these shots here, so you can kind of compare the two right here. There's a little bit, a little bit of jitter in the shots. Normally, being handheld like this, you wouldn't be, walking with the camera. You'd be on a gimbal. And this one, I'm walking to the side, so it's even a little bit more unstable as far as the handheld goes. But you can see that these little micro jitters, they're not horrible in these images. I think if you tossed a stabilization on in post, it would really just smooth that image out. Now, this is a slider shot that would be a little bit more of a cinematic style shot. You have the reflection and the grass in the foreground. And what I like about this is that usually with these foreground shots, that really makes the image look a lot more stable. So both of these cameras with this style of shot perform excellent. And here's another example of that. The GH5 with the variable frame rate at 120, kind of that reveal shot with foreground movement. And then we move on to the S5, and you can see like both of these cameras are, working fabulous. Should I use the word fabulous in this? The word fabulous. The IBIS on both of these cameras is just outstanding. And what gets me with the S5 is that it's full frame on this tiny body. All right, so now here is another like walking style shot. And this one, my wife is a little bit closer to the foreground of the camera, so you're not gonna see a bunch of that shake in the background. There's a few little micro jitters there, but overall it's pretty stable. Now, this one I took off the variable frame rate in S&Q, and this is just straight 24 frames per second. And this, I probably won't use. So that's all I really wanted to do with this video, is just get some comparison shots and see how each performs. so that you can take a look at those as well. You know, that S5 is full frame, so having that IBIS in that small S5 full frame body, I think is pretty incredible. So if you have any thoughts on this video, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to get a conversation started. That's all I've got for this video. If you have time, maybe stick around, watch one of these videos that's popping up on your screen right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.